Hello everybody, thanks for watching. I thought I'd do a quick video here, a little tutorial on your measuring tape. I see a lot of mistakes made by a homeowner, and this is really not for your contractors. This is for your basic homeowner who doesn't really do much, but you want to. You are, you work in an office all day. You don't do this every day, but you want to be able to put together stuff with your buddies. You want to build a pergola, whatever, and you don't want to look like an idiot. You don't want to look like a noob, so you want to know a few things so that you kind of look like you know what you're doing. So there's some different types of tapes, and I have a few here that I will go over. So you have your 16-foot tapes. Everything's gonna be backwards, sorry about that. You have your 16-foot tapes, and these are a little bit, this brand is a little bit wider, a little bit thicker. This comes in all different lengths. Generally speaking, what you want to do is you want to get something no smaller than a 25. This is for a specific reason. Fits in a smaller box, and I only measure small things with it. I didn't need anything too big. That's why it's a 16, but don't do that. You want something at least 25. Anything smaller than 25 and you look like a noob. Now, you can get whatever brand you want. I've been using these silver Stanley tapes for 25 plus years. So they are pretty basic, but they are kind of the old school simple basic, you know, the type that's you know, your old school carpenters always use these. And so a couple of things on how to use your measuring tape. And well, let's go to one more thing here. So I always prefer a non-auto lock. So I pull this out and I don't do anything and it snaps back. And any of these, they have a lock on the front to lock them in place. And same thing, there's a lock on the front to lock it in place, okay? Now, this one, it's called a power lock, okay? Power lock is what this is called, because it has just a hold feature, and then you push it a little bit more and it locks it in place. But some of them will have a button on the side where you pull it out and it automatically locks, and you have to push the button for it to retract. And so that's another type. One to stay away from, because I've seen guys get frustrated with it. They used to make them, I don't even know if they make them anymore. They used to have a button on the bottom, okay? Because what you do when you're holding the tape is you kind of hold it like this, and put your thumb on the back side of it where the clip is, 3 fingers on the bottom, 2 or 3 fingers on the bottom, and then you have 1 finger here or here, okay? Now I always go like this. I don't have the auto lock, so I always have my 1 finger to hold the tape where I want it to be held, okay? Now, if you have the button on the bottom, what you're gonna do is you're gonna squeeze it, and it's gonna work just like this. Automatically come in and out, and then when you release it, it's gonna not release. It's gonna not go back in. But what happens is sometimes you set this on a table, and you're pulling it out to measure stuff, and the weight of the tape will push it in and your tape will fly in. It makes you look like an idiot. So I stay away from those. Just a little bit more complicated than you need it to be. It needs to be simple, and you need to know how to use it. So a couple of things on how to use your tape. Okay, the end here. This confuses a lot of people. Okay, let me see if you can see this. So you can, I don't know if you can see that. It moves. Every tape has that movement. Okay, see that? Let me see that. See that move? What that is if you're pulling on something, that pulls out, and if you're pushing against it, to measure pushing against it, it goes in. It's making up for the thickness of this clip. Okay, does that make sense? So when you push in, it goes in, measurements are correct. As you pull against it, it pulls out, and your measurements are the same, whether in or out. So that's what that's for. That's meant to do that. So if you're going into the store and you're going, oh, these things are loose, why are these all loose? That's why, okay? They're all gonna be loose. That's what they're meant to do. Now, I like these because, again, they're simple, but there's 3 rivets here. 3 rivets. Just a little stronger. Some of the old school ones you would see used to be just 2 rivets. 3 rivets, I think, is just a little bit stronger. But there's not much to this. There's not much to this. You have your inch measurements, you have designation at each foot, and a different designation at each 16. Okay, if you know anything about construction, you know most things are on 16, like your studs be on 16, so you'll know where all your 16s are, and it'll have a red mark at your 16s. Some of them will get really fancy, and they'll have a bunch of different stuff on there. The problem is it gets really cluttered, right? Now, if you're going with something like this, I recommend going with, doesn't really matter what brand, but going with one that is, of course, bigger. Not this small little one that's bigger, and one that has your numbers on the back side. That can be handy, because this one has a different clip on it. You see these little wings on here? And that is for if you're trying to measure something up over your head, and you can hook onto something over your head and pull, and then you have the numbers on the back side so that you can actually see the numbers. This one you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd have to be going upside down, and that would be inconvenient. This one doesn't have that feature. It just has the clip on the bottom, because again, this one's very simple. Again, I've used this one 25 plus years. So, and I have other brands, but I always go back to this brand. So this one is about $11. I got a new one. This is an older one. I got a new one on sale just last night for like $7.95 for Christmas sales or something. And so they're not very expensive, but they hold up really well. These last me in doing heavy construction generally a couple of years. So this will last you, if you're just doing light work on the house, this will last you a long time, pretty much the rest of your life. So you don't have to spend a lot, but a couple of things more about the function of it. Now, there's a little cutout right there in the end, right? I think this one even has, yeah, this one has the same thing. It's a little cutout right there, okay? Right? So what that's supposed to be for is a nail head. So you take a nail, you drive it in where you want to start measuring from, you leave the head up a little bit, and that will hook onto the nail head, and then you can pull your measurement. That's just what that's for. So, last lesson. This is the advanced class, your advanced math class. Okay, so your little marks on here. Now, you'll be tempted when you go to buy your tape. There's a lot of them now that have the fractions. They didn't have them when I was coming up. I had to learn this all on the job site. They have the fractions written on the tape. Here's the problem. Again, it's too cluttered. It's too cluttered. You're going to get confused. If you just memorize this, it will work better for you. So you have all your little marks on there. What do they mean? The very shortest ones are your 16ths. Okay? That next size, those are all your 8ths. You'll see that's there, okay? Those are all your 8ths. The next size up, that's a quarter. Okay, you got one there and one there. Then your longest one right here in the middle, of course, is your half, right? Okay, everybody knows where the half is, then you know, they kind of figure out where the quarter is. That makes sense, but when you get to the 8ths and 16ths, people get confused. So I'm gonna run this by you, and you're gonna learn this real quick. All right, now, you've got 1/16, 1/8, 3/16, 1/4, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, 1/2, 9/16, 5/8, 11/16, 3/4. And say it 3/4. Don't say 3/4. Don't do that. That's one of those construction. Don't do that because you're doing quarter here. So just keep it 3/4. Makes it simpler. 3/4. People are going to look at you like you're funny, funny in the head. I know it's technically correct, but it's just, no, don't do that. All right, so 3/4. You got 13/16, 7/8, 15/16. Okay, so if you memorize that, you can look it up online, wherever you save this video, whatever you need to do, memorize that. Just memorize it. It's not that hard. And then you'll always know what those little marks are. It'll help you in your measurements in the future. Your wife will think that you're cool. All the guys on the construction site will think you're one of them. And you'll be in the know. So that's just a brief tutorial on measuring tapes. Sorry this runs a little bit long, but there's a lot to learn here. This is all stuff that I had to learn on the job site when I was a kid coming up, and people don't want to teach you. And so just trying to put the knowledge out there. Hope this helps some people and lets you look like you are part of the construction world, like you're a big tough guy when you're really just a data analyst or whatever. So thank you very much and have a good day.